Hello, hello, hello. So I've been asked to make this video since actually I wanted to make it myself because my previous video on Litchi's pressure concepts is a bit out of date since I've kind of changed the way I play and I've, discovered the game a bit more. So this is probably not even the final video in this series, but this is Litchi Pressure Concepts V2. Welcome, and I will be going over some Litchi pressure basics, how to apply pressure, what is threatening, why Litchi has, options that make people not mash, why does she have options that can open people up, and so on and so on. Basically, the usual stuff, right? So, for those that just want a very quick description of what Litchi actually does, Litchi is a strike throw set play character. Now, allow me to elaborate. Basically, the set play element comes from her being able to do this. When she sets staff, she gets access to a different set of Gatlings. So Litchi is a stance character. She has two different modes. She has staffed with larger buttons and more damaging combos, and she has a staffless version with faster buttons, more Gatlings, and so on and so on, right? If you want a general description on what Litchi actually does as a character, I do recommend you read the Dust Loop and also look at the Yuri's video, which is a bit long, but quite in detail. It's also unscripted just like this one. I just have a few notes on my other screen that I want to talk about. All right. So, for the quick rundown, basically, Litchi is a strike throw stance character that has set play. That one of her main elements is set play. The reason I say strike throw is because when she is staffed, she has very, very good strike throw. And when she is unstaffed, she also has very good strike throw. Basically, her Gatling are very, very good. Strike throw, there's a reason why Litchi strike throw. She has something you call a Kara throw, which is basically an advancing throw. When you plink the advancing 6B button into throw, you get something that basically teleports you to the enemy. Right? You can do it from 2A to A. 2A to A Kara throw is a thing, right? So you can also technically do this with just a tick throw and a dash, but Kara throw is way harder to react to, especially in cases such as like this. Stance cancel from 6D into Kara throw is a very powerful option, but we will get into that a bit later. So I will break this down into a few sections, and we will be starting with notable Gatlings, basically. If you want the full list of Gatlings, go on Dust Loop. That should be a very good description of what Litchi's Gatlings are. I will just be presenting what I use in gameplay in general and what you probably should be using, right? So let's start with staffed Gatlings, right? Litchi's main pressure starter is 2A, right? 2A goes into itself 3 times, can be dash cancelled, and is generally a very decent button. It is 0, so you can technically make it gapless and microdash. Ish. You can make it. You can make it have a very, very small gap in microdash, right? So you do 2A to A, 2A to A to A, and then you basically wanna make this gap as small as possible. If you're playing Litchi, you will want to practice microdashing buttons a lot because she does it very, very often. From stuff like microdash 2A to A, stuff like microdash 5B, microdash 5B. This is in her combos. This is in her pressure. You really want to be able to know how to do this, right? So, what can Litchi do from 2A? 2A's the cornerstone of Litchi's pressure is 2A. From 2A, she can do Kara throw. From 2A, she can do staff set, which allows her to go into staffless pressure, in which she has way more Gatlings, or rather way faster buttons, and buttons that Gatling into each other a bit better than in stance. She can go into frame trap 5B, or she can go into regular 5B. She can go into all of the C buttons, obviously, but that's a bit irrelevant for us. Also, specifically because 2A 3C whiffs. 2A 2C doesn't whiff, but you might as well just do 5B at that point, right? 2C is an advancing button. She can do instant air dash cancel, so she can jump cancel 2A. Now, the thing is, rising jump B doesn't actually hit, so you kind of want to basically only make it a falling button. Now, does this mean that she doesn't have F Shiki or anything of the sort? I think it does. I will need a check on that. I'm not sure about that, but basically, yes, if you want to jump cancel into any button, her jump arc is quite large, so you would have to basically only do a falling jumpy in this case, right? You can also do barrier, but that's you know, it's up to you what you want to do from the jump cancel from 2A. But she has a bunch of options from that, right? She can also momentum break with jump D, right? So, for example, if someone is, you know, calling out or anti-airing after 2A, which I don't believe is really doable, and I think you'd rather do this from 5B anyway, but if you want to jump cancel 5B, then you want to bait it. You can bait an anti-air by doing jump D. Jump D doesn't lead into any combos, but it does lead into a soft knockdown and into staff being in their face, and you being able to basically run pressure, reset staff into the stance you want, right, reset stance to the stance you want, and so on and so on. Right. So, from 2A, she can go into 5B, which is the other cornerstone of her pressure. 5B goes into staff set. However, I do not recommend doing 5B staff set because you are, as you see, quite far away from the character. You need to microdash 5B. After that, it's technically doable. If they barrier even further away, there's quite the gap between there. Just basically, I don't recommend doing that. From 5B, 5B is jump cancelable. You can definitely do IAD jump 2D, and this is actually very hard to deal with for most characters. Because this is +3, by the way. Plus, actually, I think it's more than +3, but this is a very plus button. I can literally look at how plus this is, by the way. I don't know why I'm inventing things. Let's look at how plus this is. Frame data enabled. Right. Whoops. So this is +7, actually. And I believe if you hit the actual second hit, doesn't really change the frame data. I just want to do it to check. Anyway, Jin's a bit nah. Jin has a very slim hurt box, so this is not an easy task to do, right? But anyway, you get the point, right? There we go. Okay, it's still +7. There we go. All right. Might just have this open in the background. All right. Now, next button after 5B. So 5B, going into 5B limits your Gatlings, as it usually does in BlazBlue, a bit more than you would with 2A, basically. So you do kind of want to get your opponent into a position where they just block this, right? Like, you do want to make 2A threatening, right? The way you do this is by presenting delayed Gatlings, is by presenting, oh, I'm going to press 5B in this case. And if they mash, they basically eat a counter-hit combo for 4.4k. If you're in the corner, you can do, I believe, slightly more from counter-hit 5B. 5B is a very good starter for Litchi. All right. From 5B, you can go into 5C. You can go into 2C. You can go into 3C. You can go into 2B. 2B. And you can go into the overhead. Now, I will go into this a bit later, but one of the main ways of mixing when you're staffed is basically it's not even a 50-50 because it's very reactable. You just block low and then react to the overhead because this overhead is 26 frames. But yeah, you can basically go into low or go into high. Now, 5B 6A is not the best. 6A is 25 frames, right? And the confirm from it is significantly challenging. You have to do 5B 6A. From that, you do 4B 6B cancel, 6B hold cancel, microdash 5B. It is not easy, but it is doable if you want to confirm for the mat. It's also just an option to just, you know, keep in mind. All right. So for example, they're just holding low this entire time. You check them with 6A. This is safe. This isn't, you maybe lose your turn, but this is most definitely safe. They will not punish you at this range unless they somehow IP it. Actually, I can literally just look at what the frame data is. Bap, bap. Yeah, you're -2 at this range. You're not getting punished. But anyway, yeah. So this is a decent check, but just don't rely on it to open people up. Right? I do open people up sometimes. It's just not the best. Right? So after that, from 5B, you can also go into 6D. Right? So you can also go into 6D from 2A, but it's kind of like, you know, might as well do a bit more Gatlings beforehand. Now, obviously, this is an option you can do. I just don't see a reason to immediately do 2A 6D. Right. From 5B, however, if you're ranged, this is actually a decent gap closer because you're in their face and staff is in their face. So you basically get a +3 reset. 6D is +3. if they IB it, and this is a very easy button to IB, you do have a few other options. And I will go into them when we get to 6D, right? So going down the Gatling table, 5B goes into 5C, goes into 2C, goes into 3C, and so on, right? So from the C buttons, your Gatling table becomes very limited when you're stuffed, right? 5C goes into staff set, 5C goes into... Actually, doesn't even go into drive. Actually, yeah, it does. Yeah, 5C goes into drive. There we go. 5C doesn't go into 2C. 5C goes into 3C, however. Now, you would be a bit spaced, so this should hit. This is still resettable because you can do 214B activation Kanchan. In the corner, this is okay. In the corner, this would look like this. And that's plus. But it's, again, not the best reset. There is quite a significant cap there. If your opponent is on fleek, they can technically, call you out for that and kind of just, take the turn back. Take the turn back or even counter it combo you. Or, like, in some cases, probably they can faithful you. There's probably a character that can faithful you through that gap. You know what? I'll assume so. Anyway. So, the usual Gatling you want to do, and this is the noticeable string that I will recommend. I'm jumping ahead a bit, is 2A, 5B, 2C, 2A, 5B, 2C, 5C, and then you have the final option that you will be presenting, right? You can also just set stuff after 2C. This is not too bad. This is the same range of 5. If you notice, this is the same range of 5 as 5B. Actually, it's closer than 5B because 2C is advancing, right? So it's not too bad. Why is this string good? Well, it is primarily composed of frame traps, right? So frame trap, frame trap, frame trap, frame trap, and then you can basically do a frame trap there as well. In the corner, however, do be mindful that if you do only a single 2A, the 5C will whiff. Whoops. 5C whiffs, right? Because the hitbox is at the staff's position. Litchi's staffed moves have a weird property where basically, this is a bit tough to do. Right? But you can basically Wi-Fi overhead, courtesy of my boy Raywat, who I think I'm the only one I see him do this. You can Wi-Fi overhead from this, right? If I'm good enough. Which is a bit tough. There we go. There, you've seen it there, right? You can Wi-Fi overhead from that. It's a bit of a tight input, but hey, you can do it. So Litchi's staffed moves have a property of basically being active where the staff is, other than 6A, which has 2 hitboxes. Some moves do have 2 hitboxes, 6A being one of them. You will hit this close. Actually, that might also be a lie. 6A might whiff on a few moves. I believe if you're like spaced out weirdly after 5B, 6A might whiff. But yes, basically the hitbox is on the staff, right? So in this case, you do want to be mindful with this delayed Gatling, right? Mid screen it hits, corner it's a bit more iffy. If you want the proper frame data, ask SRD to give it to you. I think he literally just posted in advice, in Litchi Court advice channel, the Gatling gap table, and so there is a 1 frame gap between this and this. You maybe want to delay it slightly more, right? Also, this just doesn't hit on that range. You maybe want to delay it slightly more to catch, a bit more options. The 1 frame gap is only good at catching certain OSs. If you delay it a bit more, basically you incite the opponent to mash, and they, if they get hit by the 5C after the mash, they basically die because 5C is an amazing starter, right? So, what is on my notes? Staffed and notable Gatlings. Right, okay. We're not finished with the Gatlings. From 5C, for most buttons, you can go into 6D. 6D is +3. From 6D, you have a few options. 6D itself is +3. It's a mid, it's at staff in the horizontal position, right? Now, this is notable because staff in horizontal position is not the best set light you can get. It only hits you once. It does counter hit on combo from counter hit, but it's really, well, it's basically situational. It's not exactly preferable, but you do probably prefer this set because it comes back twice, right? So, It does allow you to continue pressure if it's unchecked. However, if they IB it, you are 0, and you do not have the time to mash, right? You kind of do, because you're 0, but many times I just get hit after the IB, right? So, there are a few options from 6B, right? Something is, one of those things is, basically, if you're playing against a character that mashes with 2A, you can TK and activate staff, and then this should go into a combo. You can hit confirm that. If you're playing against the character that mashes with 5A, they catch the jump, you can backdash, right? And then from backdash, you can basically just do microdash 5B. Some of the other options from 6D are E2 cancel, right? E2 is a move with God point. It can go low. Well, not low. It can hit low. It doesn't hit as a low, but it, hits low to the ground. You have the straight version, and you have the overhead not the overhead, the air version, basically that hits in the air. One of Litchi's like very much called out anti-airs. You can E2 cancel, and basically if they mash on 6D, you can condition them not to, because this is a fatal counter. You can also, while you need to, stance cancel. While you need to, you can tap D and stance cancel. The funny thing is, if you hold E2 and you press on the right frame, you can get a staffless move. Now, this is very niche. Don't actually learn this, but it is pretty fun to know. Right. So, from this, basically, what you can, again, do in the corner is, I'm pressuring, look. Bap, 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 bap. Oh, that missed. Bap, 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 bap. Oh, look, I stance cancel, then I'm in your face again. Right. If they are conditioned to not mash, you can get away with murder, basically, after doing 6D. Or you can just, just let it rip, B+ in their face, and just continue pressure this way. Right? There we go, like so. Okay, that is pretty much it for staffed notable Gatlings. Now, section 2, I want to move on to the unstaffed Gatlings. Basically, I will just tell you to go read Dust Loop if you're really interested where it goes, what goes into what. She is very freeform when it comes to staffed, unstaffed Gatlings and soft pressure. Basically, just figure this one out on your own. Look at the wiki. I will recommend a few sequences. I cannot give you a detailed rundown of every single Gatling that she has unstaffed. That is more of a someone else should do this. Should do a video like this basically on it. One of the notable ones is she can go 2B 5B back into never mind, not 2B. So she can do 2B 5B. She can also do 5B 2B, which is not the case in staffed. You can do 5B 2B, but you cannot do 2B 5B. She can do 5B 2A, and you can basically just kind of, be very annoying this way, right? And if you add staff to the mix, holding staff, in that case, you basically just become very, very annoying. She has the staffless resets. The notable ones are basically not very existent. She has this. It's +1. Don't use it as a reset. She can IAD most buttons, right? So she can IAD 2A. She can IAD 5B, right? She can special cancel to jump on staff. This is +3, if I'm not mistaken. Let me tell you. +1, fair enough. Right. She has, if your opponent is, if you're a bit further away and your opponent is trying to jump, you can always catch them out with 3C. This actually hits quite far away. I think she moves back when doing it as well, right? Basically, yeah, you can just kind of hold staff, do it again. There we go. You can 2C, or still moves you forward, as you see, right? So it's kind of a button you can, press to maintain pressure. 2C doesn't really Gatling into too much, so be careful of that. Right? So you can jump cancel to do 2C, so still a good button. Right? So the problem with staffless Litchi is that she has so much stuff that I genuinely cannot just resume all of it, right? I cannot not resume. I cannot sum up all of it. So just, go out there, learn staff first. When you're staffless, just do stuff. Just do stuff, basically. Just try things out, right? Just be freeform with your pressure. There is no definitive way of playing staffless Litchi. Anyway, for the notable gatlings, however, for the notable, I should say, sequences, not gatlings in this case, when staffless, you can do mid-screen. The one I do the most is something like this. Right? Something that goes like this. Now, there was a gap there, so you do want to add a button, right? So it's something like so. Now, this is gapless, and you can. It's hard to make it gapless because, again, I sometimes get punished on it, but most people will definitely not mash that. It also goes into a full combo because of 236A launching if they do mash during that sequence, or if they just don't block 236A. Obviously, you can also just do this mid-screen, but the confirm is a bit hard. It's actually in one of the challenge modes. I do recommend you look at it. Maybe download it first because it's a bit situational. It's kind of hard to confirm this in mid-screen, but yeah, right. Now, another notable sequence is that in the corner, since staff takes less time to travel, you are no longer to basically, you need to do less buttons during that sequence, right? Right, that is minus. Don't do that. However, if you remove one button compared to mid-screen, right, that is plus. Also, and basically plus and gapless. Now, don't do 2B. Do 236A instead, or do 2A. Right, there we go. Oh, something I completely forgot to mention is that when Litchi is staffed, she can always just go into 4DM. This is a god button. It low crushes. It is very hard to punish because it's only -5, and you can basically, if you make it ranged, it is way less minus. So, for example, like if I'm point blank, -6, right? If I'm here, I'm -5. If I'm here, I'm +2. This button is really, really good. So just don't be afraid to just kind of just rip it sometimes, right? Because she can do it from a lot of buttons. She cannot do it from 2C, makes sense. Oh, she can. Okay, never mind. She can just do it from. She cannot do it from 3C. That's the thing. Can she do it from 2B? Yeah, she can. Okay, so you can do high-low like this as well. So remember how I mentioned that her high-low is a bit slow, or rather, you just block low? Well, this is 22 frames. Right? So they kind of just have to react to this. The animation's quite obvious, but it is 22 frames. So, just press 4DM. 4DM is a good button. I guarantee you will open people up doing this. Right? And then she does lead into damage combo. Anyway, so the notable staffless sequences in the corner go like so. So you go button, stuff set, reset. Right? And that's plus, and you can just continue pressure. You can also do something like this. You can do button, bap, bap, hold staff, 236A. Not 236A, I'm sorry. So 6A, bap, bap, right, hold button. Now that is also plus. So basically, Litchi can make her very fast overhead safe. Well, very fast. It's 22 frames, but her relatively fast overhead safe. Other than that, right. Well, that was one button too many. She has a low from it. She does have a high, technically, although it's a bit harder to confirm. Right? This is a bit harder to confirm into because this timing is a bit weird, right? So compared to like this, right? Compared to this, 236A looks like 236C looks like this. It hits at the same time, so basically you're I think you have to do you just have to do like there we go, right? So if you want to do the overhead, which is still very slow, but hey, it's an option, the echo overhead, you do have to kind of, be wary of the amount of buttons you have in the string, right? So basically the main concept of staffless Litchi is you want to use the staff to make mix or strings or anything plus. You want to basically make it so that your opponent feels helpless, like your opponent basically needs to guess for their life when you will set stuff, otherwise they cannot escape, right? Another notable sequence is when you're quite far, you can do this. and then this is plus as well. So if you really want to, like, if you're actually really far, so if you go, I don't know, like this, and if you want to reset with 214B, you can just do this. 214B is something I haven't mentioned, but I think it's pretty obvious. You can always special cancel, right? You can always special cancel into 214B, and basically have a reset that way if your opponent is asleep. You're also plus, no, you're -3 on that, but it's, you know, you're not punishable at that range. You also just have staff down, so you can just activate it and then punish them for that. I guess a notable reset would be this, right? Because that's plus, and then you can... Alright. You can just kind of keep going. Right, you can just kind of keep going. It's like it's... If your opponent lets you do this, you can just go, right? Just go. So, right. Now, I've shown you a few recommended strings. I've shown you a few recommended staffless strings. I kind of want to go into the game, the main goal of Litchi, right? So Litchi's mix is very much reactable, right? Truth Nuke, you know, Litchi has reactable mix. This is 22 frames. It's fast. The animation's a bit, you know, hard to see. You can Gatling into it from a lot of buttons, right? You can do this. Cannot do that. Cannot do that. Cannot do that. I guess it's only from 5B, but still, you can, yeah, the usual BlazBlue stuff. You can Gatling into the overhead. You can microdash it, because it's a 6 button. It's very easy to microdash. It's actually a very, very good, like, you get used to microdashing this because you want to be in their face when doing it, because otherwise the confirm is a bit hard. But anyway, 6A is staffless. It's 22 frames. 6A staffed is 25 frames. 4DM is 22 frames. The lows are fast, but again, you can just block low. This is like 27 or something, right? Her overheads are basically IADs are universal. This jump in is pretty good. This pressure reset is pretty good, right? Because you can definitely combo from this. You can do it both ways, I think. Yep, you can do it both ways. Not sure which way is better. Just, you know, figure this one out yourself. This is not real, by the way. What's real is if you really want to do it, you can drop staff, you know, jump B. You're plus 13 on that. So yeah, Litchi's mix is reactable. So what do you do on Litchi? Basically, you want to condition someone to not press when you do this. When you are staffless, you are fast, you are annoying, you are sticky, and you just have crazy IAD resets on a lot of buttons. Also, you can just always make a button plus. You can just, you know, oh no, I'm doing 236A. Or like, oh, I'm doing staff. Whoops, never mind, I'm plus. Haha, right? So basically, yeah. That's the point. Like the point of Litchi's pressure is that you want to go into staffless, and you want to use staff to your advantage to make things gapless, to make things plus. That's the whole game plan. How do you achieve being able to set staff down in their face without them challenging you? Well, you want to threaten them, right? So the best way of setting staff is on 2A, right? This is the best staff set you could possibly have, because you have all of your options from this. But if you just do 2A, reset 2A staff set, they will absolutely mash or challenge you on it. So you kind of want to just present, first thing you want to present, this is a very good string to first present, right? Because it's, again, if you're playing against a masher, they just die to that, and you don't even need to do anything else. If you're playing against someone that blocks, you can just kind of show them that, okay, well, you know, if you mash on this, I will challenge you, right? I like do not mash on this, right? So you kind of want to tell someone that, okay, well, I want to get into this situation, and if you do not let me get into this situation, I will press 5C in your face, and you will eat a lot of damage. You will eat a very high damaging starter. Right. And there are many ways of achieving this. You can obviously do stats resets from this. You can set staff at 6DM. You can just check people at 6DM. Despite this being horizontal set, it still is a pressure reset, and it's still pretty good. And you have options from it. You have, again, stupid RPS from it, because if the character you're playing against mashes in a certain way, then you can just make this safe and IB as well. You can do either this, either the backdash as I've shown previously, right? And then once you've established this threat of high damaging staffed pressure, which again could also, I forgot to mention, can be just frame traps. You can just do 5B. Oh, I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to sit in this range and see what you do, right? Or it's like, oh, I'm just going to 5B, 5B, 6B, right? And then from 6B, you're like, from 6B, I'm just going to, you know, just chill at this range. Litchi at this range is fine. She can catch jumps like this. She can do this, right? If you want to free reset, you can RC that. If you want to catch, you know, anything like mash, you just do this. Fatals. Litchi is very comfortable sitting slightly at range when she's staffless. You don't have to be in their face constantly when staffless. Also, like, reminder, you can just, you know, close the gap if you ever need to. You can just close the gap like this, right? So, once you do set staff down, once your opponent allows you to do this, you can start mixing. You can start presenting 6A. You can start presenting 6A low, right? You can start presenting, oh, I'm just going to throw you instead. Right, the other way, obviously, I forgot to mention, but Litchi is a strike throw character. The other way of basically presenting threatening mix, not threatening mix, presenting threats when staffed is just throwing them, right? Well, not like that, obviously, but you get the point. Like that, like tick throws. You can just tick throw them. And Litchi's throw does do a significant amount of damage. She is one of the higher damage, higher throw damage characters in BlazBlue. Right? Now, basically that's your layer 0 and that's your layer 1. Layer 2 I will not be discussing because I've yet to get in a match to layer 2. Again, I know the theory, I don't know the practice, unfortunately, so you're gonna have to kind of trust me on this one. But yeah, you basically just, at some point, you just get to start presenting mix in them. Like, bam. Oh, look, I'm gonna reset like this. That's an overhead. This. Oh yeah, that's plus. There's a gap there. I don't care. I'm gonna do a low in that case, and basically at some point you just open them up because it's a lot. It's a lot to take care of. Your opponent's gonna be looking out for the staff set because this should be the only way they can get out, or they're gonna try to be fuzzying. Litchi has fuzzy catch options. She has 6A. Most overheads anyway. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Catch fuzzy jumping. She has basically this. Right, this is a decent jump catch. She can always just, you know, call it the jump with a jump throw. Her throw is, again, throws are pretty damaging. She can throw pretty, like air throw goes into a decent combo. And once you are staffless, basically your opponent's going to be looking out for the staff set rather than looking out for the mix. And then this is where you present the mix. This is where you present the overhead. This is where you present the, you know, the wreckers. Litchi has some really stupid wrecker usage. You can do like hold staff, wrecker, release, wrecker, OD, wrecker, right? And then you can just do this, right? Like, you can do so much fun stuff in it. I've seen Zach do this. I've seen Zach do this. Well, a bit better than that. A bit more gapless. Pretty sure you just have to do it on landing, right? But it's kind of a triple overhead that's like, oh, Litchi's just jumping all this time. The funny thing is that at any point, if you just present this triple overhead, you can like hold this, do this, and then low instead, right? And then you can just, it's a free reset, you're plus. This is the whole point. If someone allows you to set staff down, you get away with murder. This is what you want to do with Litchi. Her mix is reactable, but you want to get away with murder. You want to make someone feel hopeless. You want to make someone feel like, oh, I don't know when the reset is. And the answer is, well, whenever she wants to if she's staffless. Like, oh, where's the gap? There is no gap. Or if there is a gap, it is absolutely untraceable from the perspective of the player that isn't Litchi, right? Now, when do you present, this is a question that I was asked in advice, when do you present mix? Basically, as I said, once you've established layer 0, you want to present the mix. Usually what I do, I kind of just set staff, hold staff to this, right? A bit better. because that's plus, or actually it's gapless. That's the point. It's plus, and you get to keep the pressure there. Basically, on staff set, you hold staff and then you do 6A, micro dash 6A. The string I've showed previously, which is 2A staff set, you do bap 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 bap. Right. Actually, I should do a different button there. Right. That's the mix. On staff, just if you see someone just only hold low and watch out for throw or something, like they're really locked in on throwing, just don't be afraid to do this sometimes, right? You don't even really lose pressure because you're -2, and if they start jumping out, you just do this instead, right? It is a hard call out, but if they have a tendency of jumping out of Litchi pressure, just don't be afraid of doing this, right? But yeah, basically also on wake up, something I do is meaty overhead. If I do combo, there's combos, right? Right, there we go. And basically that's where I present 6AE, right? But you can definitely present 6IE in different spots. You can like leave a small gap or something. You can probably present it from, yeah, the 2A actually, literally, right? There we go. You can literally present it from 2A if I'm not mistaken. Yep, you can. Gatling's from 2A. Then again, I don't know the use of Gatling from 2A because, I mean, again, the use is it's a 22 frame overhead. But the main two ways I would present pressure in, or rather mix, with 6A would be while I'm holding staff. If I'm not holding staff, I can activate staff after it, make it plus. Right? 4, 2, 3, 6A, that's kind of just the usual go-to. If they're just trying to fuzzy jump or hold up for some reason, you just hit them, get a free combo. This is a bit more niche, but it's fun to use. This never works, but it's really funny. And the other mix option is basically, right, the instant overhead jump C, which goes into a combo if they get hit, basically. Now, the problem is they would be crouching in this case, right? So it's a bit hard to hit. Actually, no, it's not even hard to hit. You should jump C. Never mind, I didn't say anything. But yeah, basically, right, you can just like... I mean, you can jump cancel from C anyway, right? But basically, if you confirm from this, I think you just do 236A, 236B. The confirm's kind of hard, but hey, lab it out, right? I think it's literally something like... like this, right? 3K from a button that's a reset anyway is really not too bad. I would recommend, however, this is a tip as old as someone that's not really good at the game either, is when you are learning pressure strings and when you're trying to figure out stuff with Litchi, do try to go for strings that kind of auto-confirm if they do get hit, right? Namely, the string I've showed here, right? This is what crouching, yep. The string I showed here, which is... if they're standing there, right? If they're standing there, this kind of just auto-confirms. Yeah, this kind of just auto-confirms, right? And then the overhead, the funny thing is that also just kind of auto-confirms. So if crouching and blocking, right? If this is the scenario, right? You just get the string. But if I do the exact same string on no block, on Gino, just crouching, no block, then I get this. Oh, it's just a combo, right? So I do recommend learning these strings first, and then eventually, you know, diversifying and, you know, getting better at confirming and whatnot. Actually, I'm curious, real quick, what do you get from staff activation this? Oh, just a combo. Okay, fair enough. Yep. Yeah, you just get a combo. All right. Anyway, I hope that wasn't too chaotic, and I hope you are all able to follow this video. How long has it been? It has been... oh, wow, 40 minutes. Okay, well, you'll have something to watch then, I guess. There will probably be a V3, don't get me mistaken. I will probably start figuring out staffless pressure a lot more, and I'll be able to discuss staffless pressure a lot more. But in any case, if you have any questions, contact me on the Litchi Discord. Same tag, the pie piece. You probably should just go talk to Litchis that are better than I am. Ping Zach. Zach's a great guy. Shout out to him. He will absolutely answer most of your questions. Ping Raywat. Raywat also answers, and he's also goated. But yeah, basically, that was it. Thank you for watching, and good adventures, have fun adventures learning Litchi.